What happens when one of the most powerful fictional orders in sci fi history gets its own tarot deck? And does it read well? Hola, hi, hello, and welcome to Krystal Light Tarot, your source for tarot deck reviews from an advanced novice tarot enthusiast. Yes, that is absolutely a thing because that thing is me. It's me. I'm Krystal Light, and I'm so delighted that you're here with me today, especially because we're digging into a deck that marries two great things: an epic film and tarot. I'm talking about the Dune Bene Gesserit Tarot deck, brought to us by Inside Editions, written by Minerva Siegel, and illustrated by Sarah Rain Hammond. So let's dig into this deck like a thumper in drum sand summoning a grandfather Shai Halud. Let's go. Real quick, a couple of disclaimers. This is not a paid sponsorship or promotion. The voice did not force me to purchase this. I did this out of my own accord and was moved to provide this review. Therefore, as I showcase the cards, I will share some of my intuitive thoughts and opinions as I go along. So if you would like a quick and silent-ish flip through, it's about 10 minutes or so, I'll provide a link either at the end or here or in my description. So be on the lookout for that. Also, just a warning, there will be spoilers. This deck is based on the latest two Dune movies. So if you have not watched, plan to, and don't want to know what happens, please come back after you watch. So initially, I did have my reservations about getting an Inside Editions deck just because I purchased the Buffy the Vampire Slayer deck a couple of years ago. And while it was amazing and it was great to relive the series through the cards, the description in the guidebook, some of them didn't match what the cards had, and it was a little disappointing. I don't know if they've fixed it since, but it just made me hesitant to get the deck at first. And then also, I really wanted the Hocus Pocus deck, but that's a pip deck, and I don't like pip decks. However, I am happy to report that the Dune Bene Gesserit Tarot has all of the correct descriptions for all of the cards. Yes, I went through them all. And it's not a pip deck. So we are off to a great start already. Dune Bene Gesserit Tarot deck and guide. For the Bene Gesserit, plans may be measured in millennia, but your destiny is yours to choose as you enter the world of Dune through this tarot deck and guide. This fully illustrated tarot deck and comprehensive guide features original illustrations that match characters from the films with classic tarot archetypes, making it a fresh interpretation of a traditional tarot deck. Okay, so it's a nice, soft, kind of velvety box. All right. And on the front, we have pictured here the Bene Gesserit. We have the moons with the hand of God. We have Arrakis in the background, some starry night. All right. We have a magnetic clasp here for the box. We've got a ribbon. All right. We have the galaxy here. We have the sands of Arrakis in the back here of the box. Okay. All right, on the back of the card deck, we have the Shai Halud or the sandworms. We have a little bit of galaxy going on here. And again, the sands of Arrakis with the spice. Okay. The card stock, it snaps back. It's pretty thick. Feels nice, nice and velvety. I will warn though, because of the texture of it, it does make it a little difficult to shuffle with. They do stick. You'll see that at the end when I shuffle. Also, noticing about the back of the cards, you can't tell whether it's right side up or upside down. So that is a plus for many people. Okay, digging into the book. You have the guidebook, has a contents page where it has an introduction, understanding your tarot deck, pages for the major and minor arcana, a tarot reading section where it has caring for your deck, preparing to read tarot, has the spreads, about the author, about the illustrator, and then it goes right into it. The book is written from the POV of the Bene Gesserit. So in the Understanding Your Tarot deck, here we go, you get a brief explanation of the basic structure of this tarot deck. They break down the difference between the major and minor arcana. They also break down the renaming of the suits. In this deck, The suits are called Spice, Water, Crysknives, and Planets, which represent wands, cups, swords, and pentacles, respectively. Then they lay out attributes of each suit, describe which element is for each suit. So, spice, wands, fire, water is obviously water for cups. The suit of Chris Knives is swords, which is air, and the planets are pentacles, coins, element of earth. This is a full color guide, as we see here, which is nice. There are two full pages dedicated to each major arcana, one for the description and one for the illustration, which is actually bigger than the card itself. If you can see here, right? Nice to see that while you're reading it, and you really get to see all of the little elements in there. The description for the major arcana are broken down into three sections. We have a blurb at the top giving a general idea of the card, tying it to some aspect of the movie, and an upright and reversal. So, yes, we have reversal meanings here. That's a win. The minor arcana and court cards are designated one page each. The description and illustrations are on the same page. There is no initial blurb, just an upright and, again, reversal meaning. So here we go. Much smaller picture of the card, but that's okay. It's full color, so that's great. I know sometimes when they have smaller pictures, when they have it in black and white, you really can't see the detail. So this is really helpful. So after the card descriptions, we have a tarot reading section that incorporates caring for your deck, preparing to read tarot. We have some spreads, right? 3 spreads, and about the author and about the illustrator, and that's it. All right, without further ado, let's get to the flip through. Yes. Okay. First up as our fool is our desert mouse, Muad'Dib, the original himself or herself. The magician. As our high priestess, who else but Reverend Mother Gaius Helen Morheim. Our Empress, of course, Lady Jessica. And the Emperor is the Emperor. Our Hierophant, Stilgar. For anyone that's watched the movie, anyone else find Stilgar hilarious? Like, one of the reasons I want to see this movie in the movie theater is to see everyone else's reactions to Stilgar, because I think he's hilarious. All right, our lovers, Chani and Paul. Okay, the Chariot, Paul riding, I'm going to assume it's Paul riding the Shai Halud. Then we have Strength, Duncan, Idaho. Yes. So at first I had a problem with Strength, with Duncan being Strength, but I realized that it is super appropriate. While I agree with Duncan, Idaho as Strength, I don't think this scene properly exemplifies the Strength card as we typically know it in the Rider-Waite Smith decks, right? It wasn't through brute force that he gained the trust and acceptance of the Fremen into their siege. It was through compassion and understanding. So I would have preferred the scene of Duncan hanging around the Fremen to properly execute this card. The Hermit, Dr. Liette Kynes. Based on the movies, it didn't give me enough context to justify her being the hermit, but doing some online researches allowed me to see why they would choose Dr. Liette Kynes as a hermit. Wheel of Fortune. And the Shai Halud did not eat Paul and his mother, Lady Jessica. The Atreides ducal signet for justice. The Hangman. Gurney Halleck holding on to Paul Atreides while the mining apparatus gets eaten by the Shai Halud. And Paul is now listening to the voices in the spice. Death. Chani saving Paul. And Paul now ascending to become the Lisan Galib. Temperance. So I love Chani as temperance. Chani's moral temperance is a good choice. But I'm thinking Dr. Leah Kynes, how I first didn't understand how she could be the hermit. I thought maybe she could be temperance because how she kind of is doing this balance of being an important member of the Fremen community, but also a part of the Imperium. The Devil. Baron Vladimir Harkonnen. And we have the Tower. When the Imperium comes, they show up powerful and they are not leaving as such. That's all I'll say. 16. This looks like Paul Muad'Dib Atreides speaking to the fanatics of the South. This is when he speaks to them after the Harkonnens have now destroyed some of the sieges in the north. They go to the south where there is a strong religious following and they are all in. So this is their star. Our traitor, Dr. Yu, the moon. Paul riding the Shah Halud, the sun. That was definitely his moment in the sun because it was just another step towards him becoming the Lisan al Galib. Judgment. The Reverend Mother testing Paul with the pain box and the Gom Jabbar. And rounding out our major arcana is the world with the Emperor kissing the Atreides ring. So now we're getting into the suit of cups, otherwise known in this deck as water. So Ace of Water. I believe that is Alia. Is that Paul's sister in Lady Jessica's womb? The Two of Water. Paul and Chani doing the sand walk through the desert. Three of Water. Chani and Shishaki's friendship. Four of Water. Chani not drinking the Kool-Aid. Five of Water. Chani seeing the devastation of Siege Tower being destroyed by the Harkonnens. Six of Water. Baby Lady Jessica. Harkonnen. Dun, dun, dun. Seven of Water. The Herald of Change. So this card, while I was glad to see the Herald of Change and his amazing cheekbones, this was a little bit of a stretch for me. I read the deck, not the deck, I read the guide, and this one basically says like research your options. I don't know if at this point in the situation they really could have reneged on their acceptance of taking over Arrakis. So yeah, this one might be a little stretch for me. I'll have to read it intuitively some other way. Okay, the Eight of Water. Yeah, this one was spot on. I really liked how they did this one because here Chani and Paul have worked so well together and they've built this thing based in love and respect and equality. And now Paul, becoming the Lisan al Ghalib, now has to make a decision based not on with his heart, but with his mind, and that is to wed Princess Irulan. So can't wait to see how this all plays out in the third movie. And the Nine of Water, usually our Nine of Cups, which is our wish fulfillment. And this is everything that Stilgar has been looking forward to his entire life. So, yes, he's willing to give his life in order to see this prophecy unfold. But the Nine of Cups is usually the, wish fulfillment, but at what cost? So, let's see what happens. Ten of Water. This is when the Fremen show up in the north. No, in the south. Yes, they go from the north to the south. Our Page of Water. This one I had to look in the book and research because I don't think they ever gave us her title or her name in the movie. She's the Maker Keeper who looks after the young sandworms. Then we have Duke Leto Atreides, Knight of Water. He's a lover, not a fighter. Queen of Water, Our Lady Jessica, as she ascends to be Reverend Mother to the Fremen. And our King of Water, the Lisan al Ghalib self actualized. Okay, now we're going into our pentacles, otherwise known in this deck as the planets. So we have the Ace of Planets. This is when Duke Leto Atreides had a meeting with his cabinet discussing the state of the spice and how to move forward. Two of Planets. This is that mic drop moment where the Emperor finds out that Paul is alive. He did survive. Three of Planets. The Sardaukar gathering as the Emperor asked them for their help to take down the Atreides. The Four of Planets. The burning and destruction of the House of Atreides by the Emperor, desperately clinging to his power. The Five of Planets. Our traitor was left out to dry. Six of Planets. Stilgar being introduced to the Atreides. I really appreciated this representation because this goes to show how Duke Leto Atreides did not want to oppress the Fremen. He wanted to work with them. So he was willing to listen to them, bring them to the table, and see how everyone could live together in peace and harmony and bring together a green Arrakis. The Seven of Planets. This is our Emperor and our Reverend Mother trying to assess the state of things and figuring out how to move forward. Eight of Planets. Gurney Halleck training our young Paul in the ways of combat and protection. Nine of Planets. We have Sardaukar taking the Baron down a notch at the request of the Emperor. This was an interesting take on the Nine of Pentacles, but I kind of saw it as, the Nine of Pentacles has the independent woman and she has that bird. Oh man, somebody has to tell me, and it's not coming to me, but it's like a bird of sport that they used to have the birds fight each other, right? Not a raven, I forget what it's called. But to me, the Sardaukar warrior was like the bird that the Emperor was sending out to do his dirty work, then there is usually a snail in the card. So I took the Baron crawling as the snail. So interesting card. Then we have our 10 of planets. It's the emperor and his princess enjoying what's left of the fruit of their labors throughout the generations, honestly. You have a lush garden bearing fruit, quiet, tranquil, all for now. Then we have Princess Irulan here with the Reverend Mother as the Page of Planets. I had to look him up too because I don't believe, or I never registered his name. So he is the Bashar, or the leader of the Sardaukar, as the Knight of Planets. And here we go, Princess Irulan again as Queen of Planets. And our Emperor here as the King of Planets. Okay, now we're getting into the Suit of Swords, which in this deck is known as Crysknives. So we have the Ace of Crysknives, Paul listening to the spice. We have Beast Raban, Two of Crysknives, when his brother basically tells him to kiss his feet or die. The Three of Crysknives. So I had to look up what they're called. I only knew them as Fade Rotha's pets, right? But apparently they're known as harpies. This one I wasn't sure how to take this. Yeah, I don't know. This one, well, I want to say it's a stretch. I kind of get it. I don't know, just because they're just pure evil. I don't know. That one was a stretch. This one was not. I love this one. Four of Crysknives, Fade Rotha, and Lady Margot Fenring. Yes, a little R&R Harkonnen style after his victory in the battle ring for his birthday. Five of Crysknives, Duncan, Idaho, protecting Duke Paul Atreides and Lady Jessica, laying down his life. Six, Paul fighting Jamis. Seven of Crysknives, the Fedaykin attacking Beast Raban and destroying one of the spice depots. Eight of Crysknives. This is the Baron fighting for his life, trying to stay alive, narrowly escaping death from Duke Leto Atreides' final act of revenge on his enemies. The Nine of Crysknives. Lady Jessica reciting the Litany Against Fear mantra as her son is facing possible execution if he does not pass the pain box test. The 10 of Crysknives. We have Gurney Halleck facing off with Beast Raban. We have Paul, younger Paul, as Page of Crysknives. The Knight of Crysknives, someone else that I had to look up. I never registered his title, but he is a Mentat, and his name is the Peter de Vries. He was the Baron's strategic right-hand man. Queen of Crysknives, Lady Margot Fenring. I hope we see more of her in part 3. And Psychotic Fade Rotha as the King of Crysknives. Very fitting. And getting down to the final suits, we have for wands, we have Spice, and we have the Ace of Spice. Duke Leto Atreides accepting leadership over Arrakis. Two of Spice, another Mentat. This is Thufir Hawat, calculating their next move. Three of Spice. This is House Atreides arriving on Arrakis, getting the ball rolling. Four of Spice. This was a stretch for me, but I get it. He's celebrating the victory and status within the Harkonnen Empire. So I can see that. I could see this one. I guess usually get a nice warm and fuzzy feeling with the Four of Wands, but this is warm and fuzzy as best a Harkonnen can, I guess. Okay, Five of Spice. This looks like one of the spice mining machines. This one I definitely had to go to the book to understand how this was the Five of Wands. Six of Spice. Fade Ralpha being appointed the new planetary governor of Arrakis and gaining the approval of his uncle, Baron Vladimir Harkonnen. Seven of Spice. This is the Hunter Seeker entering Paul's sleeping quarters. Eight of Spice. Paul and Lady Jessica watching the destruction of their house and having to move in haste to survive. Nine of Spice. This is Lieutenant Lanville, one of the surviving Atreides warriors, as he remains a strong and proud loyal member of the House of Atreides, even in the face of imminent death. The Ten of Spice. This represents all of the challenges that await Paul as he bears the weight of the prophecy unfolding. Page of Spice. Again, a younger Paul, learning the ways of the Fremen through his film books, learning how they walk, how they talk. Our Knight of Spice, Gurney Halleck. Our Queen of Spice, Lady Jessica. And last but not least, our King of Spice, Duke Leto Atreides. That is the deck. What do you think? Were all of your favorite characters, scenes, ideologies represented? Were you surprised by anything? Is anything missing? Let me know down in the comments. If you like this flip through, please give it a like and share with any fellow Dune and or tarot enthusiasts. So I'll give kind of a couple of my insights after the shuffle. If you stick around, great. If not, that's all right. But all right. We'll pull a card to see exactly how the guidebook reads. All right, so, all right, a little side shuffle here. Let's see. Okay, let's see if I could do a bridge. My fingers are not strong enough for this. Unfortunately, this is the box is also noise. So let me get the box out of the way. Let's see if I can do that again, because that was bad. That was really bad. And I know I will say it's been really cold and my fingers hurt lately with the snow outside. So that'll be my excuse for why I couldn't shuffle a little better. Let's open this up. Okay. All right. So, all right, I'll give it a little shuffle this way. But as you see, it's not too smooth. Like they kind of, maybe as with time, it'll get a little smoother, but it does. I kind of have to force it a little bit. I have to be a little rough with this deck. But it is Dune, so maybe you have to be. Our Seven of Water, Jesus. The one that I really just didn't understand. Okay, so our Seven of Water. Let's see how this reads. And you can see what I mean. So this is a minor. Okay. Upright. Duke Leto has a noble heart and gallant ideas, but the Emperor and Baron Harkonnen are engaged in complex political maneuvers. Do not assume that those around you are approaching situations with the same intentions you are. As the Baron says of Duke Leto Arrakis' takeover, win is a gift, not a gift. Research opportunities careful before accepting them and trust your intuition. Reversed. Many options are before you, and you may feel overwhelmed. You see the merits and pitfalls of each path forward and are having trouble deciding on your next move. Focus on your own values and goals. When you decide what matters most to you, follow House Atreides Accept the call and move forward confidently. Okay. So that's how that reads. I do want to get a major arcana. So let's read a major arcana. The moon. How about that? Let's see how the moon reads. The moon represents the subconscious mind, fears, and hidden agendas. Just as the moon has a dark side, so too does Dr. Wellington Yu, who conceals a secret hurt and a great betrayal behind his kind demeanor and dedication to medicine. Anxieties may be heightened now, but are they founded in reality? Is there malicious intent, or is this all a misunderstanding? Listening to your subconscious may help you discern the truth. To avoid mistakes and regrets, check in with your intuitive feelings rather than acting in haste. Reversed, your anxieties may be tempting you to turn away from your goals. A little fear may be wise, it can keep us vigilant and safe. However, too much fear can obscure the goodness of life. Achieving a balanced perspective should be a priority now. All right. So that is how the deck reads. Cool. So while it does provide like a description of what the major, the minor arcana are, a little description on the suits, I don't know if this is necessarily really a beginner friendly deck. Between needing to know certain aspects of the Dune movies and tarot, maybe for an advanced tarot reader. I really appreciate it because it gave me a little bit more depth into the cards. It gave me another viewpoint of the card. So I really liked it. So it's perfect for me in at the stage that I am in my tarot journey. All right, so I'm going to go into a couple of final thoughts. If you've seen everything you came to see, thank you for hanging with me. Please like, comment, share, subscribe. I'd really appreciate it. If you're sticking around, here go a couple of my thoughts. So that was the deck. What'd you think? Do you like it? Do you love it? Not? Was anything missing? So in this segment, I'm going to talk about what I mean, like I haven't been talking, right? But I'm going to talk about what I thought was missing and what I would have liked to see. But I do really appreciate the deck. I think as far as a deck based on a movie, it is top notch. Really good. Why did the camera just move? Anyway. Okay, so my number one character that I would have loved to see represented in the cards was Shout Out Mapes. She is the housekeeper that Lady Jessica winds up choosing. But when she first is looking for them, she has this moment with Shout Out, and Shout Out is a firm believer of the Lisan al Ghalib, and she hands Lady Jessica the Chris knife. And when she does so, she does this like cry because she states something like, when you've lived with revelation, no, when you've lived with prophecy for so long, the moment of revelation is a shock. And I think that could have been an amazing card. That should have been like Judgment renamed Revelation. I don't know, or just an additional card. But she was a character that I thought uh, was important to the film, to the buildup of the film, even though she was short lived, but important enough that she could have had a card. So that's number one. Number two, the Jinn. So Stilgar talks about the Jinn and warns Paul about not listening to the Jinn when he goes out into the desert. So, but we know that Paul hears voices, right? So I would have liked some type of card to see a representation of the Jinn somehow. Again, this could be part of an oracle deck. Who knows? Then the third, the weirding woman. Yes, so Stilgar calls Lady Jessica the weirding woman after she bests him when he's trying to get rid of her. So we have many scenes where Lady Jessica is kicking ass, and I would have loved to see a card representing that side of her, because I think we see her as the Reverend Mother, we see her as the concubine. I would have loved to see a card of her being a kick ass mom. Maybe, I don't know. I just needed that card. All right, folks. That's all for me. Let me know if you agree. Let me know if there are any characters you would have liked to see, any scenes you would have liked, or let's go ahead and just start up an Oracle deck collection. All right, folks. Take care. I'll talk to you next time. Remember, like, comment, share, subscribe. See ya. Ciao.